Alright folks, back at it following day. It's a little late, 10 o'clock because it rained. And I think the rain's about gone though. So found me a gas tank that I'm going to use. It's a boat tank, but that's okay. I'm just going to build a little bracket around it to sit it down in. And I've got, let me see, we could put quick connects on it, but for now we'll just, hook it in and it's not a big deal. But we'll set it out here. We've got a thing to put a return in it. It's already got a line for the suction. I'll show you how I'm going to do that. And let me see. I'm going to run and get a key switch. We're just going to drill this panel right here and put them in. And a push button. Maybe a solenoid. And we use the solenoid relay for the glow plugs, push button for the glow plugs, and then use the key switch. And maybe, hopefully I can figure out how to wire that alternator. I hadn't checked on that yet. Still need to, I did find me a fitting to put on here to go from a bigger hose to a smaller, so I need to go ahead and get that clamp down and get some water in the radiator. But something I noticed with these Mercedes clamps, it's got actual Mercedes brand clamps on it. Let me see if I can, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a Mercedes emblem right there. Anyway, so they loosen really well, but they won't retighten. And I don't know, why they made them like that, or it's almost like you can loosen it up, but then you need to replace it to put it back on, because I can't get, most of them won't tighten back up. I don't understand it, but it's not just one or two. I mean, it's 3 or 4 of them. So anyway, so this hose here, we may shorten it and turn it. Because like I said, I don't know if it needs to flow through or not. Some of these things do. This one probably don't, but I don't like the looks of that hose. But I'm just using what was already there. So anyway, we should be able to get this wired up pretty quick and easy. And someone has wired on that thing anyway. So I don't know what kind of alternator it is. I remanufactured one. Remanufactured Germany. In Germany. Okay, so I don't know what brand it would be. Lucas, I guess. I don't know. I might be better off to. From the looks of this thing, it's just to put a GM on there. We'll see. Okay, we're gonna do some belt work anyway when we get ready to put the governor on. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and get things wired up. I want to test this out and see how good it's gonna do on the edger before I go too far with it. And we're getting close. All right. Okay, so radiator. What was wrong with it? Why there was antifreeze on the bed of my truck when I went to load it? Because it was leaking out of the radiator. The plug was missing out of the bottom. Now the engine itself had antifreeze in it, but why they pulled the plug I'm not sure. But unless it just, well, the threads was good, so I don't think it got broke off, but or got yanked out or anything. But anyway, so it was pipe thread. I just put a valve on it, that way I could turn it on and off. And we're full of water, and of course what antifreeze was still in the block, so we'll end up checking that to make sure it's adequate for our weather here. I don't think it's planning on freezing anytime soon, but last thing we want is something sitting here without antifreeze in it, because I don't have time sometimes when it gets ready to freeze to go around checking everything. Now I found me a push button while I was in the hardware store for our glow plug relay, so we'll go ahead and get it mounted. And then, like I said, I need a key switch. I got to pick up some diesel, maybe some fuel line, a couple other things. We'll get this thing fired up. All right folks, up until now I hadn't spent any money on this thing, but hose, clamps, fuel filter, 5/16 plastic, see-through, key switch, and a Ford relay or solenoid. $55. That's terrible, but that's the way it goes. And it all came from China, you can bet on that. So what we've got, or what I'm doing, the Ford solenoid. Okay, glow plugs, like it's on this, can pull, over the years I've seen different things, from anywhere from 29 amps to 48 amps, 10 to 12 amps a piece. I mean, you hear it all different ways, but Anyway, they pull a lot, and a little, you know, the little square relays that you use on horns and fog lights and fans, you know, there's just not enough amperage. You end up burning it up. So anyway, these, you know, a 4-cylinder engine starter pulls about 150 amps, so this will handle whatever we want. So this is what we're using. We're going to mount it on, and this was I think $17, something like that, which you know, that's not that bad, I don't reckon. But anyway, so we already had the push button, and I had to buy a key switch. We're drilling a hole for it now. We have a key switch. Someone's going to be on the back side, push button, and then I'm going to put some kind of a roof over this so that it don't rain on it. And you know, I'd love to have this completely enclosed like a power unit, but we're not going to do that. I don't have any plans to do that anyway. So, but that's what it's where we're at. We picked up, of course, 4 gallons of diesel was $20. So, all right, folks, there we go. They're all bolted in, ready to go, and now we're going to start doing some wiring, get that finished up. Okay, folks, glow plugs are wired. The solenoid kicking in. So you count off about 8 seconds or something like that. You turn the switch. Of course, we've got no diesel, so you can see some air in there. So we're going to get the tank mount done, and then we'll go from there. All right. Couldn't help myself. I wanted to see what I could do. I put a return in the tank, and we've got the hoses done, and now we're ready to start trying to hand prime. Now, I don't know where the fuel shutoff is on this. I don't know whether it's up or down. I can't remember. It had a cable hooked to it, but I don't see which way it was, so we're going to have to try it. Let's see if she'll pump up any. Yeah, it's getting wet already. There we go. Pump harder. Pretty hard. All right, let's see what she does if she'll fire off. See what happens. We'll plug a little bit. Alright folks, I want to show you a tool that I picked up a few months back, quite a while back actually, but anyway, it's a Whitney metal tool. Same company that made this shear that I used to cut all that steel for the crane boom. And this is actually what's called a notcher, and it does a good job, but I can't find any other one like it. They offer and sell a smaller version of this, but this is 3-inch capacity, 3x3, 3/8 thick. Now the ones they sell now are, you know, I don't think they do over 1/4 inch, but I can't find any information on this one. According to the manufacturer, they never built it, but of course it's got their name right on it, so I know they did. But this one is a higher capacity than any of the other ones they've got on there, and they actually have a ratchet style instead of a this style. And here's what it does. You can see this is 3/16 maybe. So it pops out pieces like that, and then you can bend this into a 90. So it's good for building trailers and stuff like that. It does a really good job. You know, it really needs to be mounted down somewhere, but with doing no bigger than that, I can do it by hand without mounting it down. And it actually has a Roper Whitney table. So I don't know, their website don't show one this size. No, it's 3x3 by 3/8 anyway. So let's get at making a battery box and a for our fuel tank also. And unfortunately, I'm using galvanized. I don't like it, but that's all I got right now. All right. Alright folks, keeps raining on me, but according to radar I think it's going for now. So we're going to try to get our battery box done. That's probably all I'm going to do, is I'm going to bend it together, weld it, and just weld it on like that. It'll stop up against that. That'll be fine. We just don't want it moving around. We can put a bungee over top of it and it'll be good to go. And we're going to use these two for that, and then I've got to do something with the air cleaner. That's what I'm going to do next. All right folks, we're just fighting the rainstorms. That's it. Got this box built. That's all. Like I said, that's all I'm going to do. I don't need that other corner. And we're going to put it in, and we'll eventually find a bungee cord to go all the way around it. I'm going to grind it, let it cool down here. Air cleaner. So I finally figured out what I needed to do. I think I need to plug off a couple holes there, maybe with some with the original plugs, but anyway, that should hold it. It's actually really sturdy, and then this end comes off right here, and the filter's inside. That's some kind of, maybe it's a vortex for high performance stuff, I don't know. Anyway, so that's done, and we're working on the rear, well, the other end of the fuel tank. All right, so we found the bungee for the battery, if it don't break. It's pretty old. All right, so fuel tank mount is done, and you can see it narrows up a little bit, and that way it'll cradle that tank just fine. It's got holes in it. I got another bungee cord we can run over it. That'll hold it down. I'm gonna do a little grinding first when it cools. Did I tell you how much I don't like welding galvanized? Actually, when I was younger, 21 I think, I built a entire wrecker bed out of galvanized diamond plate, and because I was able to buy it for scrap from the junkyard at a good price, and the sheets were, I'm going to say they were 3 foot by 1.5 feet, and I welded them all together completely. But of course that was stick welding, but I never got sick once, and I've never been sick from welding galvanized. People say they do get sick, and I know I've breathed it, you know, because I can smell it, but I try not to breathe it. Just don't like the splattering and the crap you got to go through when you use it. So let me get this ground, and then I'll get that on, and then we still got that bearing mount to weld, and then we're going to get this thing around there and see what we can do with the edge. All right. right, folks. Everything didn't go perfect, but it worked. We've got some work to do on the edger yet. I've got to get some inserts for one of the blades. One of them is cutting kind of rough, and work on a little bit of everything else on it. You know, it's old, probably at least 100 years old. So I gotta get it. I use one of my other belts. This belt here is just had it. I was hoping it'd straighten out, but it's still flopping real bad and coming apart now. So it's an endless belt, but longer than what I really wanted anyway. But we can shorten it up and redo it. Power unit done really good. Definitely got to get our governor on, because you set it at 1 speed, and of course, and it's hard to keep the speed, and then it just don't, I don't know, it just don't work right without a governor. Didn't heat at all. Hoses ain't even hard, so no problems there. Everything's working good on the pulley and everything. Should start back up. Let's see. I guess we're going to call it. And like I said, I've got I'm going to go to Turnersburg to show tomorrow morning, and then run to class for Saturday and Sunday. We stuck a ratchet strap on here, and then stuck one on the front and twisted this thing around to tighten it up. We just done that because I was in a hurry. You know, we didn't want to mess around with it, and I think the jack idea on it will do just fine. And you know, where I plan on setting this up at, I'm hoping I don't have to move it much or move it at all. I probably should have and could have went with a drive shaft out the back of this, in the back of that, but the reason I went ahead and done it like this is you never know. I've got another edger that's set up for just for tobacco sticks, and tobacco sticks work good for stickers between the wood when you're stacking it. So we may end up using some of it for that. But we'll keep getting this dialed in. I think I'm trying to get a little bit more efficient on cutting. In other words, I can cut all the wood and just leave the bark on the sides and run it through the edger. And if we get it set up in the right spot, you know, where it'll get it closer to the wood when we take it off the mill, it would make it a lot easier. And you know, this will be easier to start and shut off. I won't have to leave it running all the time. And it fires right up. Seems to work really well. So I'll show you when we get ready to do the governor and the clutch rod handle that I'm going to put on it, and the jacks. And I don't know, you know, the alternator we're going to swap out. So we're not done, of course, but we're, you know, we got a good ways on it. And that was what I was wanting to do, was try to see how far along we could get. I like the situation with the fuel tank and the battery. Easy to get to and easy to, you know, work on, change, do whatever we need to do. And as you can see, the filter's staying good and clean. The tank was good and clean inside. And working good. But like I said, you can see that belt, the way that it's not laying flat, it's twisted. This belt just was stored bad, and not by me, of course. Now, I'm not going to say I hadn't stored any bad. I might have some stored bad right now, but this particular one wasn't because of me. And it's just a rough belt. Anyway, there she is. I appreciate everybody watching, and you know, we'll be back at it here shortly. All right, bye.